Hello everyone, this is A.T.I Draws. I'd like to welcome you guys back to another wonderful video. I'm Joshua Haddad, and today I'd like to just present you guys a wonderful animation I spent time working on. Thank you guys for the love and support on the past videos. So now for today's video, I'd like to show you guys Vannila, an animation I've been trying to work on. I didn't really know much about animations, tried to study some, didn't understand how to use Clip Studio, which I still don't. The still arts I managed to make was off of just following other people online and trying to test out some stuff on my own. But I managed to figure out some stuff, and within 4 hours of creating a character and actually not wasting time like I did at the start, I was able to effectively create Vannila as you see here, and the animation to go with it. So without further ado, let's get into the time lapse. At the start, I was starting to draw stickmen. My original plan going into all this was I wanted to have a character that was able to rotate the camera left to right, add a little bit of shake like she's adjusting the camera and recording herself. In this moment, I wanted her to kind of have like an influencer vibe where she's recording herself and doing things that are fun, goofy, and entertaining. So due to this, I decided to have her back away from the camera after she set it up, pose, teleport to another part of the camera, and proceed to do another pose, and do that again and again, to allow the viewers to enjoy her fun and goofy personality. To really capture this, I wanted to ensure that the character was able to be as goofy as possible, which is why in the third one I decided to add her upside down on the ceiling, sticking her tongue out, kind of like blah, kind of in that type of way, where you're able to actually see the character. I thought that would be fun and something very interesting, and I actually really liked that concept. I think, for starters, at the start, my only problem is I didn't know how to work much of these. When you first start animation inside Clip Studio, it immediately brings you to an animation folder with a layer inside of it. I didn't realize that you didn't have to draw on the layer, and you could just take the layer outside the animation folder, or create a layer outside the animation folder, and then proceed to use that layer to actually create something, and then bring it back in. But in the end, things worked out well. As you see here, I did went and had the character pose after drinking a smoothie. I then went and replayed back, Lord God, replayed back the animation again, just to replay how 30 frames work. Then I decided to do some minor adjustments to characters, to poses, and everything, because I felt like everything was going fast. I thought that you had to redraw everything for the frames again and again. Again, I was very knowledgeable about how to do this. I didn't really know what to do, and it kind of felt stuck. I didn't really know that I was eligible to just hold the frame, and I didn't need to do all these frames and different things like that. Now, after this, it was so much easier. But let's now focus on the time lapse here. At this point going in, I tried to create a humanoid, a more detailed version of the stickman character I drew before, but with eyes so I could add opening and closing. After that, I wanted to create a small chibi character, as you see me sculpting right now, to try and add more, like just add it easy for myself, because I didn't realize you were able to take, again, create a layer outside the animation folder, draw base frames that you need, draw the base frames that you need, and then place it back inside the animation folder, and then just duplicate ones that you need to create the motion frames. I didn't realize you could have done that. So, in the end, I kind of just tried to tap around things. I didn't really like the chibi character too much because I wasn't even sculpting it well anyway. So I decided to spend time here drawing this character, which I really like, by the way. I kind of made her like a crazy, sleep-deprived, like obsessed looking person. I really like that character, so I'll be sure to redraw her in the future. But that's besides the point. At this point now, this is where I just undid that, and I went back in and I started drawing Vannila, the actual time, and this is where it took 4 hours, because the other previous days I was just kind of doing everything else. This is where I spent time and actually sculpted Vannila. I didn't really know what to do here with the character, and I was running very low on time here. I had little to no time, and if I had to pick one thing, I'm ensuring, without a doubt, in my mind, that next time I'm doing an animation, I'm taking 2 weeks to do it. And now that I'm knowledgeable of how to do smears, squishes, and squat and stretches, I'm going to be playing this a lot better now. I'm going to... First thing I'm going to do is create multiple images about what I want to do at the start, because animation is drawing a whole image, motions for an image. So if I draw photos, like a bunch of still arts drawing poses I want to happen, and I just put that in a very easy to animate character, it should be fine. I think I should be fine. Anyway, with this though, I can firmly say that I went back in. I'm doing the liner right now for Vannila. I wanted to create her dress and her to have an anxious look. I added the Bogus Binted for a beanie that I put on her head. I thought that was funny to add, and I thought that would be pretty cool. And I thought of it on the spot, so that was something. Because of the anxious look and because I saw they give her a dress, I was like, alright, we have to make this fancy. So now I put her at a restaurant and made her look a little nervous. I did a line art again on another layer because I didn't really like the line art I did on the previous layer, and I feel like I could have done better. If you look at the hair, I obviously made a big difference to the front part. I didn't really like that either. And I'm now adjusting things a little bit. I didn't add the chairs in at this part for the outdoor part of the restaurant. I kind of forgot about that at this point. It wasn't until I did a line art, and then now you see I'm adding the chairs in because I didn't realize that I forgot chairs. And then I decided to add my flat colors in. For the eyelashes, I wanted to do the thing I talked about in the spiky video, where I take the soft airbrush and I draw the eyelash, but I realized it didn't really work too well. So in turn, I decided that I was going to draw the eye first, kind of just a base outline, thin it up at the top, and then add the soft airbrush kind of as eyeshadow over top. Then after that, I wanted to make the skin a dark blue, but I realized the skin color was too much of a bad contrast brightness wise that I wanted to use for the character. So instead I just left it as outlines on the eyes because I thought it looked cool to me. And then I decided to add just her hair to be purple and the more colors for the dress and her beanie. At this point, this is just where I took it the layer outside the animation folder. So I was still worried at the start by this point that I would have to redraw all this again and again. So that was something that I had to really think about, and it made me mildly concerned, but that's why I removed the flower. I think the flower would have been a very great addition. I could have added that on. I could have added 3 flowers on her dress, and they could have called that day. But regardless, it's alright. I'm not gonna complain too much. I didn't do much. I didn't do horribly, so I think it was all good. Now I'm adding my shadings here. Wanted to ensure that the character looked in more 3D. I decided to make the environment a bit more darker, as it is nighttime here. Didn't really add a scenery in the background. For the night, again, I was running very low on time here. Now I wanted to do something simple. For motion, I decided to go with just adjusting the eyes to make her look left and right as she's anxious, you know, just to make her kind of like jitter around a little bit. Making this kind of more of the facial expression instead of the rest of the body allowed me to cut out a lot of time that I needed to spend on other parts. So it was able to really save me a bunch of time here. Now I'm just kind of reusing the same colors that I used for her eyes, as I'm just adjusting it frame by frame just to complete the motion. Going back through here, I realized that, man, 30 frame animations wasn't even that hard to do. It wasn't that bad. I think I shouldn't have wasted time at the start. I sure really took time and just completed this, but it is what it is. Now going through, I'm adjusting her other eyes now. I'm going to complete the motion by making her eyes move from one side over to the right side over to the left. So in doing so, I'm going to ensure that her eyes move within 2 frames. Move from one motion over to the next. So it's very quick and rapid, so you don't have to worry about it as much. I know that one thing that a lot of animators talk about is whenever you're doing a faster motion, hold it for less frames. And the slower the animation, the more frames you want to have the animation cover. So quick eye jitters that people who are anxious have are very quick motions. So I know that you had to do that at a very quick and rapid rate. Now I'm just kind of adding the eyes moving upwards now to kind of face the viewer, to look at the viewer. Now I'm having the eyes look at the viewer now, and now I'm kind of having the eyes close. But my idea going into this, making Vannila, was I wanted her to be anxious, looking left or right, and then I want her to look up as if she sees somebody through her peripheral vision, to look up and spot us, the viewer, who she's supposedly supposed to have this time with. Now in doing so, she should have like a squash effect with her face, where she kind of just like goes like, wait a minute, and it looks back up like that. As you can see, her eyes are closing and then she's opening her eyes back, and yeah, you see how I'm adding more blush there right now because it's more. So it's like, wait a minute, wait, you were there this whole time. So that's kind of the expression I wanted her to have, and I thought it would look very cool. So this is the animation here. Yep, and that's the animation. Nice, short and sweet. That was about 2 minutes, 2 seconds long. I did about a total of about 8 frames total. I drew and I adjusted 8 total frames out of the about the 80, almost 90, the 75 to 80 frames that I did. I drew only about 8 and I just held the rest. So that was actually a really good improvement. Now let's look at let's go back over it and talk about my final thoughts. Final thoughts going over this. I really wish, without a doubt, next time I do an animation, I'm going to first give myself 2 weeks to do it. This was just not that good, and the fact that I gave myself time, but I didn't know how to use that time effectively, and I didn't know what I was doing. So when I time clocked down, then I actually had to go outside the box, and that's when I actually figured out how to do the animation. So that was not that pleasant of a time. Another thing I would do is I will map out what I want my animation to look like. At the start, it was very good. I liked it how my idea was to give more of a playful character. In the end, I did it as best as I could. I created an anxious character using as much of the tools that I knew how to use in Clip Studio from my experience with using those tools in my still arts. But I really wish for me that I could have done more. I'm going to take my layers. I'm going to create about like 4, 5 image layers. Oftentimes, when you're drawing with animation, I realize that you're creating an image through several motions. So in doing so, I'm going to map out what I want to create image-wise and the motions and what images I could just have as just still arts themselves. So in doing so, I'm not just drawing a drawing over and over and over again, but I can actually draw a expression over periods of time. After I do that, I'm going to plug those inside the animation. I'm going to delete the original animation folder that they have there, and then I'm going to make micro adjustments to the already created images I have, using copies and duplicating them to effectively create motions in between the images. So we're able to better express the character and to allow the character to feel more connected. I'm guessing that's the reason why when you read like manga and other things, how the panels kind of play into each other, so you're able to see it, but when they get animated, they just create the motion between each of the panels. That's kind of something that you want to do here, I'm realizing. You create a panel, or an image, and you're just adding motion in between those images. So I'll be sure to practice that and try that out, and to make sure to get that down. But for now, I'm going to relax. I think I did animation. I now know what to do. But I like to focus on some other things first, such as, for starters, I literally just reused the same frames I used for creating this animation as the character that's supposed to be the puppet I'm talking to for my YouTube. I'll be sure to create a character in the future to represent my YouTube channel. Another thing, I want to create a YouTube icon image for myself, like an image to represent my YouTube. I'll probably create something cool, something easy, cool, and something to read that's noticeable that you can recognize me by. Another thing I want to create as well is a banner for the YouTube. I would love to do that. So in doing so, I will probably spend the next couple of weeks drawing the icon, the banner, and creating a character for it to represent the YouTube. Then after that, I will probably work on anatomy and a lot of anatomy and character specific styling. I told you before, I did want to create a cartoon, semi-realistic, retro anime, modern anime, and yeah, I believe I said all those. Yep, styled of art. Well, it's an art, and I would love to do that, as I was heavily inspired by the way artists and art work and look, and I would love to create something that's abstract, cool, and that really represents my personality. But I'll just show you guys in the future, as I don't want this video to be too long. But I do want to thank you guys for being here. Another wonderful day. I thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys continue pursuing art and continue doing your best. I hope you guys just enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great day, and I hope you guys do the best you can at art. I'll be sure to post a lot, and you will never stop hearing from me. And good thing is, I promise you, I'll become one of the best still arts, 2D animators, and 3D animators. I will be doing 3D, so don't worry about me. I'll pursue it the best I can. So thank you guys again for watching today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe. And if you guys can, be sure to stop by and get as much views as you can and send it to other people. I'll like to support as I'm starting Instagram. I just need to get more people to know, more love and support, and I'll provide you guys a better and better content. And thank you guys for just all you've done, and I thank you guys just for being here another day. See you guys.